6'3" centers. Okay, so you got to understand it's all relative to your genetics. And that's really critical to understand. So know where you fit. As a parent, know where your child fits. Okay? And I'm going to leave it at that because you'll figure that out as you go. Academics, clearinghouse. Most of these schools out here, I'm going to tell you, their entrance GPA is a 3.0. Okay, and you're going to talk to a lot of Division III schools. The Division III schools cost about $34,000 a year. Hope College. Mike Ricketts is out there. He told me this 2 years ago. Their freshman class, they had at Hope College 1,700 freshmen that applied, 1,700 seniors, at high school seniors, that applied. They were above a 3.7. So who do you think is getting all the academic money at the Division III scholarship level? Because that's all academics. There's no athletic scholarships there. So it's 3.7 students. Well, I'm a 3.0. Okay, well, you can come to our school, like when I was at Adrian College, and they're going to tell your mom and dad, you better pop up $20,000, $25,000. And you're going to tell your kid you're going to a state school and become a student for half that cost. That's the reality of it. It's a money game. And that's the thing about the next level. I do believe this. Being a college athlete is not about ability, it is as much about affordability. You may go play in Ohio and Kansas, and there's always a place for a kid to play, especially football. There's always a place for a kid to play. You can find a school. The question is, can your parents and can you afford it? Now, if you all want to come here for scholarships, right? Why not get an academic scholarship? Why don't you get an academic scholarship? Because you know what? At every college campus, they are guaranteed. I can walk into every school and say, this is my GPA, and you know what they're going to do and say, that's your GPA? We're going to give you $10,000. You walk in the University of Findlay, and they show a 3.5, they're going to give you $10,000 academic scholarship right off the bat. It's all about your grades, boys. You want this dream? Fine. Work for it. You want to go to college and play football? Fine. Who decides if you're Division I? Yourself. I love that. I decide if I'm Division I. How many want to be Division I? Who decides? The 119 Division I head coaches are going to decide if you're Division I when you're a senior. You have no say in that matter. If Rich Rodriguez and Coach Dan Antonio have not called you and they're not then you're not Division I in their eyes. They make the decision. You have no say in that. What do you have a say in? The number of opportunities you're going to get by your GPA. That's what you have a say in. That's what we got to teach our freshmen. That's what our guys got to understand. I want to go play college athletics. Fine. I'll find you a place to play at a 3.5. I'll find you a place to play. I guarantee it. How about Harvard? How'd you like to have that degree at Harvard? You know, why not? If I want to be a Big Ten kid, why don't you prepare for Northwestern? That's a little different than Michigan State. They need a unique kid to go to Northwestern. Why don't you prepare for that? So I always ask these kids, I want a scholarship. For what? I need to pay for my education. Fine. Go to school every day. And that's what the 740-day club is I'll talk about here in a minute. Here's the NCAA stuff. I'll talk about this information on here's your core classes. You have to have 16 for Division I, and you have to have 14 for Division II. Okay? Let me skip here. And I'll talk about the sliding scale because you're going to ask, what does that mean? And I'll show you how that helps you. Sliding scale, there's your classes. You have to have 4 English. Now the Michigan education is pretty much online with this. A couple years ago it wasn't. Everyone had their own graduation requirements. So when a coach asks you, are you in line with the clearinghouse, that's one thing. A lot of guys used to tell me, I'm in line with my graduation requirements. Not your school, with the NCAA. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And again, all this stuff you can either find in my book, or you can go to the NCAA, it's all there. Here's what a sliding scale does for kids. Okay? You go and become a student. If you're Division I, you got a sliding scale. Whatever your overall core GPA is at the end of your senior year, that dictates what your ACT score has to be. The better you are in a classroom, the lower you're going to have to qualify in the ACT. How many guys think you're a bad test taker? Not very good at those standardized test things. Here's my question. Or here's my answer to that problem. Become a great student and have a great core, because if you look up there and you're a 3.5 in your core, you got to get a 10 on your ACT. A 10. That's easy. You can sleep through a 10 most of the time. No offense, but a 10's easy. All right? It says 39 because the NCAA only works with the overall score, not your cumulative. In Division II, it said you had to be a 68. You had to score all 4 subsections to a number of 68. Here, you got to score at all 4 subsections. Here's the story of a kid at a school in this area. It was in the newspaper. One of those reporters wrote about it. And it said he would have been offered a MAC scholarship to this school, a really good MAC school, one of the best in our league. He needed to get a 17 on his ACT because his 15 didn't qualify him. Now, I'm not telling you anything secretive because the guy wrote it in the paper. So it's public knowledge. All right? I know off the bat the reason he needed to get a 17 because he's a 2.5 core. If he was a 2.7, he's in with a 15. He gets a full ride to a MAC school for 4 to 5 years, all because of 0.2 of a point. You talk about blowing an opportunity? And I guarantee you, if I looked at that kid's transcript, I'll find a class in his sophomore, his freshman year, where he could have fixed it to a B, and he'd have been how hard is it to get a B in your I'm a high school teacher. I've been in all year. I've been to 110 schools a year when I was recruiting Michigan. I know how you can get a 3.0 easy. You work your butt off and do your assignments, you smile at your teachers, and you study hard for your tests, and they're going to give you a B. And you earn a B, I should say. But that's not hard. If I have a real hard trig class, I may get a C+, but then my gym class will give me a B, or an A, I'm sorry. And I can keep that scale up. So that's what the Clearinghouse tells you now, the NCAA Eligibility Center. That's the academic requirements. 740-day club, you got to go to school every day. That's what that means. Motivation, I'll give you some of this. Parents, is more for you. Here's, I like M&M. We're all 8 Mile guys. North or south, put you somewhere by it. And I watched the movie, obviously 8 Mile, and at the last song of the movie sings, right, lose yourself. You look at the lyrics, I think it's great lyrics. So I asked the question to our young kids here. You have one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted. You guys have put all your blood, sweat, and tears into being a college athlete, to being a college football player. What are you going to do with that opportunity? And I'm telling you what, hopefully within the first 10 minutes of this presentation, you young kids realize I better go to school and smile and sit in front and be the nicest person to my teacher so I want to get those good grades. And I'm going to do my homework, I'm going to turn it on time, and I'm going to study for my exams because my dream is to be a college football player, and that dream is going to be based on my GPA, not my 40 time. That's one thing you young kids got to learn. Your parents are telling you, right, go to school, get your grades. All right? And that's what it's all about. And I hope I showed you that with the Clearinghouse information. And it's not only just Clearinghouse because you're not going to be Division I. You got to find ways to get scholarships to pay for your education. All right? You got one shot. And some of you guys who are seniors are sitting here, I know you just blew your shot. You're saying, man, I wish you had told me that in 9th grade. I'm sure people told it to you. And for you seniors, I'm going to tell you this. Do one thing to make up for your mistake. Go find a young kid in your school tomorrow. Put your arm around him on your football team as a freshman, who maybe is like you were, and help that kid. And say, don't do what I did. And make it a positive in someone else's life. That's why I call it bridge builder. Go help somebody else out and make them say, look, I made a mistake. Don't do what I did. Because now I got these colleges I can't talk to. So that's why I say to you guys, that's why I make you sit in here and listen to this. Because I think it's important for you to go back to your school and say, this is what I did wrong. Everybody needs it. We're all role models.